That was a whole lot.
Whoa. I don't know what that was you guys were just doing, but goddamn. Welcome to the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, AEW Dynamite Recap Show. I'm your boy, the franchise player, Double B Bad Blood, joined by the sports entertainment sultan himself, Mr. Chemical Julian. Those two weird and wacky dudes on the bottom of Julian right there, J&J Security, and the man who was not seen at all tonight, Big Money Drew.
Is he really Big Money Drew? We'll never know.
We'll never fucking know.
The world will never know.
Anyway, welcome to the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, AEW Dynamite Recap, and we're talking about the Continental Classic, or the C2, as the internet is calling it. Julian, you and I talked earlier today.
We did.
We talked about this in extensive, and we want to talk about the bracket. So, Julian,
let's talk about the bracket.
Share the brackets with the people.
Here's the bracket. So what we've got here, ladies and gentlemen, is a round robin style tournament for the AEW Continental Classic. And what it looks like is the winner will be awarded the Continental Classic Championship. I'm assuming this is something they'll do every year, so it's not something they're going to defend necessarily, but it is like the Owen Hart Cup, but it will be a championship that they will hold. So here's the rules. We've got two brackets. One is the gold bracket, one is the blue bracket. The rules are this. Each match has a 20-minute time limit. If you win a match, you get 3 points. If you lose a match, you get 0 points. If it's a draw, you get 1 point, 1 point per person, and everyone is banned from ringside. Also, they said this is no DQ and no count out. So in the first bracket, we've got John Moxley, Swerve Strickland, Roosh, Jay White, Jay Lethel, and Mark Briscoe. In the blue bracket, we've got Bryan Danielson, Andrade, Brody King, Eddie Kingston, Claudio, and Daniel Garcia.
Hold on. Let's go over the tournament rules, though, because she didn't go with the rules. The rules are specifically like the J Crown, the G1 Climax. Each tournament, each participant will face 6 people, the 6 people in their bracket. Each wrestler will wrestle each member 6 times in a round robin style tournament.
Well,
the winner of each 5 times, yeah. The winner of each bracket will be determined by the point system. You get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, no points for a loss, and each week, all 6 members, be it on Dynamite, Collision, and or Rampage, will face the other members of the tournament bracket. The tournament bracket B, our gold bracket, will face the winner of the blue bracket at World's End, which is going to be December 30th.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
So thus far, we've seen Swerve Strickland defeat Jay Lethel by pinfall. We saw Jay White defeat Roosh by pinfall. And we saw John Moxley defeat Jay Briscoe by pinfall. So that's why you can see here on the scorecard, Jay has 3 points, Swerve has 3 points, Moxley has 3 points. Nobody else has nothing yet. The blue bracket competition or matches have not started. Here's the interesting thing, and this is what Blood and I started talking about. Once we got the whole round robin thing settled and figured out, the question is this. Eddie Kingston is your current Ring of Honor heavyweight champion and your
New Japan Strong openweight champion, yeah.
Yeah. Eddie says that in his matches, his titles are on the line. So the question is this. Seeing as how he gets to wrestle 5 times, how many times will he possibly lose those titles and or get them back? Or will they bounce around? Will they play hot potatoes with both titles? Or will someone only put up one? He's going to put up both. Somebody will only put up one. Like, how's that going to work? And also, why is there nobody from New Japan in the brackets?
Yeah, I was going to get with that. But I thought about this. I thought about this earlier. After me, you got the phone, and I kind of went back over it again. If Eddie Kingston defends both titles, remember, because if you watched Dynamite tonight, Excalibur kind of said, in the first match we had Jay Lethal in the match, but Jay Lethal lost at the pay-per-view last weekend for the Ring of Honor World Champion. And this is his roundabout way of getting another Ring of Honor World title shot. So, like you said, if let's say Jay Lethel wins the gold bracket, and he gets all the points in the gold bracket, which we know he's not going to because he's already suffered a loss. But if he gets the gold bracket win, right, and then Kingston wins the blue bracket, does he get the championship match there? But what happens if Claudio wrestles Eddie Kingston, or if Daniel Garcia wrestles Eddie Kingston, or Brody King, or if Andrade, or if Danielson? Are they all getting Ring of Honor title shots? So if Bryan Danielson beats Eddie Kingston, is he the Ring of Honor champion and then has to defend it against like Daniel Garcia, or defend it against Claudio, or defend it again against Eddie Kingston?
Well, so check this. So check this out. Eddie Kingston is the one who got on the. So Tony Schiavone and Tony Khan had a little, introduction to the Continental Classic Tournament.
Yeah, the bracket special.
Yeah, Eddie Kingston joined them, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm putting in both my titles. I've always wanted to be a Ring of Honor champion, and I've always wanted to be a world champion." Da 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 da. So he's putting his belts up. Now, here's the thing: if I'm in a round robin tournament and I beat Eddie Kingston and I win both those titles, I don't have to put my titles up. I signed up for a round robin tournament. I didn't sign. I signed up for a round robin tournament. I didn't sign up for a championship match. And someone's gonna be like, "Well, he did it. Why don't you?" Because I'm not stupid.
Because that's him. That ain't me.
Why would I put my titles on the line in a whole fucking tournament? And as we all know, when you start playing hot potato with the championship, fans get pissed.
Oh yeah.
I did the 24/7 championship. This is supposed to be the Ring of Honor championship, which is prestigious. This is supposed to be a New Japan title, which is supposed to be prestigious, even though there's somebody from 24/7.
Love you too, Joe.
So here's the thing. That was Handsome Joe.
So think about it like this: if you have 5 matches, the most points you can accumulate is 15 points. Right now, Jay White, Swerve, and Moxley are the only ones who can go all the way to 15 points.
Yep.
Yeah.
But at this point of the tournament, I think anybody still has a chance to accumulate either enough points to win or to push a finals match for the last, like, who has the most points kind of determination. Second of all, one thing that I was kind of looking for here is, since these are 20-minute TV time limits, if you see the time clock pop up on the show, on the TV screen, that means it's going to be a draw.
That right there is the gospel. And if you guys ever watch a G1 Classic, you guys ever watch the G1 Climax, you guys know how the fucking thing works. It's like 7 days, and it's strenuous. B block, A block, C block, D block, E block, F block, FUCKYOU block, all those blocks.
Yeah.
LGBTQ block.
If you have a New Japan television and you are dedicated to watching any of their cup tournaments, it is a full-time job. It's as intense as March Madness. I mean, you'll be watching wrestling literally all day, every day. And it just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah,
like, it's serious business.
So you want us to like talk about what we feel about this tournament and stuff?
I mean, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about like the matches and how it went down, and what are your thoughts? Because me and Julian, we talked about this, and our thoughts are this is going to be a clusterfuck.
Yeah,
I saw that instantly.
I mean, it's not that like the matches are great. My opinion, like the Continental Classic, Continental Championship, they're trying to create their own J Crown Championship, their Triple Crown Champion. That's great, but my problem with this whole Triple Crown Championship thing is this: you're creating a new AEW Championship, which is going to be the AEW Continental Championship, right? Julian and I were talking about it. Julian says it's going to be like the U.S. Championship. I get it. So you got the Continental Championship, you got the Ring of Honor World Championship, and then you got the New Japan Strong Championship. Now, remember when Ultimo Dragon had all 7 of those titles, and he was like the J Crown champion? He would defend those titles, all the titles at once, or then he would defend like the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. Like when he lost to Dean Malenko, he lost the WCW Cruiserweight title, not the J Crown Championship.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I should get Sonny Ono to come on the show and talk about that, since he's the guy with who knows, who has the knowledge of the J Crown Championship. But with the Triple Crown Championship, is he going to go to Ring of Honor and just defend the Ring of Honor World Championship, New Japan Strong to defend the New Japan Strong Championship, and then defend the Continental Championship? Because at any given time, if he loses one of those belts, that Triple Crown shit goes out the door.
Yep.
So he has to defend all the belts. Now, I don't understand why you didn't bring anybody from New Japan. You got Shibata, who's fucking right there, who was on tonight's show. Why didn't you put Shibata in this tournament? This would have been a perfect way for you to introduce Will Ospreay. I mean, not introduce him, but introduce Will Ospreay as the representative for New Japan. Seeing as how he's still under contract in New Japan.
Tony Khan's like, no, I gotta push my boys.
You got Mark Briscoe and you got Jay Lethel. Okay, they're ROH guys. Let's just give them the ROH. That's the ROH guys, right? You got Swerve, you got Moxley, you got Brian Danielson, you got Garcia. Well, Garcia was a Ring of Honor guy at one time too. Claudio was a Ring of Honor guy. So you got a bunch of Ring of Honor guys, and you got some AEW guys. No fucking New Japan guys. I mean, you could argue and say, "Oh, okay, Jay White was from New Japan."
Can I let me show you a graphic that I saw online today? Mm-hmm. And if we're talking about the Continental Championship, we're talking about inclusiveness for various promotions. This right here is a lineup that made a lot more sense to me. So you got Penta, Takeshita, Lance Archer, Moxley, Malachi Black,
Bandito,
Penta. You got Bandito, Scorpio, brother. You got Andrade, you got Miro. So out of the current lineup, two of the biggest people that I think are missing are Miro, number one, Penta, number two. I even suggested Vikingo earlier, and Will Hobbs.
Takeshita.
Yeah, and Takeshita. I mean, that was like obviously missing. Yeah.
Listen, I don't get it. I just don't get it, because I am not a avid. You know, it makes me think of the famous promo for MJF last year when he was going off on Tony Khan. He said something about like that he doesn't give a shit about watching New Japan or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't fucking care. I appreciate that there's New Japan wrestling and the history of New Japan wrestling, but I don't watch it. I don't even still know the rules of the Ring of Honor Pure title matches. Because you could quiz me on that and I'll fail every single time. So I just am like, okay, like we're doing this thing and it's to please the New Japan marks that are following this company, and then they have to throw in the Ring of Honor title and the New Japan Strong title. It's like, but it's just making it confusing. Why are you making it confusing? There's like, you know, I'm generally positive about AEW, even in the midst of all the negativity. But I just feel like there wasn't a need for. You could do this tournament fine, but to add the Ring of Honor title and New Japan title, and then no guys from New Japan on top of that, and make all these rules, it feels like AEW just continuing to play to the niche audience that it already has, instead of like building its own brand and showing
Eddie,
different from
where'd you hear
else.
this? Sorry, Drew. Eddie, where'd you hear that New Japan Strong is going under?
This is the first time I'm hearing about that.
I haven't heard anything about this at all. So please if you have some information, some credible information, because Sean Ross Sapp didn't say it ain't happening. But if you're saying that you heard it somewhere, please enlighten us, because we want to be very informed when we make our opinions. I don't want to be
all right. So here's the question:
your opinion.
Out of the gold bracket, who do you think is going to win?
Swerve.
I would say
the casual fans.
Done.
Shit, that's a good question.
I'm going with Swerve. I think he deserves it after everything else.
Yeah.
I gotta admit though, I was personally, I don't like Swerve. Like personally, like as in real life person. As a wrestler, man, he fucking showed up and showed out last weekend. He earned my respect as a wrestler. So do I want to see Swerve win this? Like tonight's match was great. Do I want to see Swerve win this? Honestly, I don't know. Do I want to see Moxley win? No. Why would I want to see Moxley win? He's already fucking, Moxley's job right now should be putting over the young talent.
Correct.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't be winning tournaments or anything like that. I like to see Jay White win the gold bracket, because after all the hype and bullshit going into like this title match with MJF and he got buried and all this other bullshit, let him show up and show out. And keep in mind, if you want to get technical, Jay White is the only person in this fucking on this bracket that has actually been in the G1.
Correct.
So,
yeah, I could see that.
I'd like to see Jay White win the G1. I'd like to see Jay White win the gold bracket. Swerve can wrestle several styles. People forget. Oh, I don't forget. Trust me, I know Swerve can wrestle lucha. He can wrestle hardcore. He can wrestle. Mm-hmm. He's a ground and pound guy. He can go aerial. He can do strikes. Yeah, he's a well-rounded wrestler. I'm not gonna lie. He's fucking phenomenal as a wrestler. As a person, he's a piece of shit. But that's just me. But then you got Eddie Kingston. You got Brody King. You got Daniel Garcia. You got Claudio. You got Bryan Danielson. Like, you got some fucking hitters over there. Some good. You got some hitters.
I prefer this bracket over the other one, honestly. I mean, listen.
Thank you for joining us, Eddie. I appreciate you.
I am a fan of the wrestling on the show, so I'm not gonna hate the matches. I just want to watch a show, a great show with great storyline progression. That's pretty much what I care about. So
I want it to make sense.
And make sense, of course.
As a wrestler, not as a podcaster, not as a fan, but as a wrestler myself, I want this shit to make sense. The tournament does look great. It looks great. But you should have just made this an AEW tournament instead of calling it like the Continental Classic, where we're bringing in New Japan and Ring of Honor. It should have just been a tournament for the Continental Championship.
Actually, me and John actually thought this was going to be a normal tournament. We didn't know the background for this tournament until we saw the points and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. We were just like, wait, what?
We've been talking about them doing a G1 style tournament, which honestly, I thought the Owen Hart thing was going to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they decided to make this tournament, I was excited. Don't get me wrong. I love the bracket, the point system. I love this whole scoring. I love the way the matches are lined up, 20-minute time limits, 3 points for the win, 0 points for a loss, 1 point for a draw. I'm cool with that. Everyone's banned from ringside. So now you get to see wrestling. This is something WWE would never do.
Yeah.
WWE would never do this. When AEW came about, they said, we're going to be the alternative to the WWE.
Correct.
Now they're showing.
This sets them apart.
Now they're showing that they are an alternative. Now they're showing that this is going to make sense.
Yeah, they're showing that they're an alternative to WWE, but also being very similar to New Japan.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. That's the
you
downfall.
know, like it's hitting for people who are watchers of the G1 and have, you know, 100 hours a week to watch wrestling.
You know what, Eddie? I think maybe this tournament may have been Bryan Danielson's idea, or Daniel Bryan's idea.
He better not win though.
No, he's going to the G1. He's not going to win this.
Good.
Who I would like to see win it all. I mean, so they get the 3 titles. Well, so now here's the thing, though. Oh no, yeah, because they'll get the 3 titles because they'll be the victor, whether Eddie Kingston is in it or not. So who is going to be the guy to go to New Japan to do the thing
business
and go to Ring of Honor? Well, I mean, the Ring of Honor champion generally doesn't wrestle in Ring of Honor, but to go to the AEW pay-per-view pre-shows and wrestle for the Ring of Honor title.
Wow. Wow.
Let's say
Drew, goddamn. Put the gun down, Drew. Put the gun away.
Man. Andrade, Eddie, Brody. Let me see the gold one again. The gold bracket.
Yep. It's coming up.
Whew.
I feel like the final could either be Swerve versus somebody in blue or Jay White versus somebody in blue. And let me see blue. I could see Claudio going all the way.
I wouldn't.
Maybe Eddie Kingston, but that would kind of just like make the whole thing pointless. Because it's like, oh, okay, the guy who's holding the 2 titles is gonna be the guy that goes all the way to the final. You know?
Well, then again, look at some of the matches that we can actually fucking have, dude. I mean, the blue bracket. We can have Brody King versus Andrade, Brody King versus Eddie Kingston. We can have Bryan Danielson and Claudio versus each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I much prefer, like I said, I much prefer this bracket. I think that I'm more of a fan of all of the people in this bracket, and I want to see them all face each other. Absolutely.
I mean, shit, like this is gonna be great. Daniel Garcia versus Andrade, Daniel Garcia versus Bryan Danielson, Brody King versus Eddie Kingston. Like, dude, some of these matches in this blue bracket, fire. But then again, we had Jay Lethel versus Jay White.
Correct.
That was fire in itself.
Yeah, it was.
Then you had Roosh, bro. Come on, like they put this tournament together.
Jay White. Yeah, that was really great.
They put this tournament together. I'm sorry, you had Swerve and but now look at it. You can get Swerve and Roosh. You can get Swerve and Jay White. You can get fucking Roosh and who else is on the A bracket?
Moxley.
You can get Roosh and Moxley. You can get Moxley and Swerve. Like, dude, there's so many different like this is mixing iterations. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Of these matches. Like lately, I have been on a shitting on AEW kick because their pay-per-views are fire. The storylines are slowly building back up, but then like Dynamite and Rampage and Collision have been shit. But now you found a way to make Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision mean something
again.
Yeah, because these matches are going to be fucking on point.
Well, if they wanted to make Rampage interesting, they could have at least told us before 2 days in advance that Rampage was on Saturday live at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think Swerve wants to face Moxley. He just got done bleeding already.
and having someone drink his blood while at it.
Well, they're gonna have to face each other eventually because they're in the same bracket.
He's probably thinking, "Oh, great! I gotta fight and I gotta bleed again."
And I gotta bleed in someone's mouth again.
great.
I think maybe the final would be Jay White versus Claudio.
I'm gonna
I feel
say
like that would be a good final.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. I think that'd be an awesome match, but I have a feeling it could be Swerve, but I feel like it's going to be Jay White versus Eddie Kingston. Just my mind is telling me Eddie Kingston's going to go all the way. I don't know why, but I don't want that to be the thing, but I just have that feeling.
I don't know. There's so many.
They should have just did this not with those other 2 titles.
I would go with
like
Swerve and Claudio.
That would be a good match too.
Like I said, man, there's so many things that can happen, man. So many things.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get all of it, and we're gonna see which one's actually any good.
You know what Eddie Kingston could have done? He could have probably did this. Let's say he's the final one in the tournament, right? Let's say he's in the finals. He could have literally just said, you know what? It's not just gonna be for one time. I'm putting my belts on the line too, so I could win.
He could have done that.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen every single match he's in.
But he could have saved that for the finals if he won, because he wouldn't be risking losing the belts. And also, just if he wins the whole entire tournament without losing any of the belts, then what was the point?
See, that would have been made sense.
And you know what else too? I feel weird that he doesn't even get those other 2 titles anymore. Now they're just hanging out on the table with something under a blanket or whatever. So,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure he's going to be holding the championships again. But
correct.
So, for his matches, he's going to have the titles and then put them on the table.
Yeah, because he didn't pull a Samoa Joe. He didn't be like, "Yeah, I'm fucking forfeiting this title."
Yeah.
That was fucking.
I mean,
no forfeit. Not like Samoa Joe dropping off the TV title.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about your dream matches for this tournament. I'm gonna start with you guys, J&J. What are you guys? What are your dream matches for this blue bracket?
I gotta go with. That's a tough one.
Let's go with Eddie Kingston and Daniel Garcia for me.
I want to see Brody King versus Claudio.
What about
I'll
you,
tell
Julian?
Mine right now. Okay, go ahead, Julian.
So I'm looking for another iteration of the Eddie Kingston versus Claudio feud. I'm looking for Brody King versus Brody King versus Eddie Kingston should be a good match.
Yeah, who's the real king?
For sure.
Oh no, Julian. No. We're just doing blue bracket right now. We'll go to gold bracket in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So what about you, Big Money Drew?
I am most looking forward to a couple matches. I'll say, honestly, the most interesting one to me that I want to see is Danielson versus Andrade.
Claudio.
That's right, because they're both in BCC together.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really looking forward to Andrade and Danielson, and I'm also really looking forward because I want this to finally be his breakaway from all the bullshit that they've had him in. I want Danielson and Daniel Garcia to be the moment that Garcia finally breaks away from all the bullshit and becomes the babyface wrestler that we all need him to be right now. Also, Brody. I'm very much looking forward to Brody King and Danielson as well. Okay, interesting. All my matches had one particular person in them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Julian, put the blue bracket. The Bracket. No. Leave. Yeah. Okay, so Brody King and Eddie Kingston would be good.
Oh yeah.
Claudio and Danielson is something that I want to see. I gotta see them too. We already seen Garcia and Andrade already. But to see Brody King and Bryan Danielson, dude, that's gonna be the stiffest match in the whole night.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So those are my picks. Daniel Garcia and Claudio, yeah. Eddie King, but I want to see Claudio versus Bryan Danielson, and I want to see Brody King versus Bryan Danielson the most. Eddie Kingston and Brody King, yeah, that's gonna be fire too. But I need to see Danielson and Brody King. All right, so let's go to the gold bracket.
And we're back to the gold.
All right, Julian, gold bracket. What matches do you want to see? Give me 2 good matches.
All right, so 2 good matches. I want to see a Ring of Honor, like return to Ring of Honor match. Jay Lethel versus Mark Briscoe.
Ooh, that'd be good.
And I want to see Swerve and Moxley.
Ooh, okay.
I want to see, like, if Hangman Adam Page made Swerve bleed like that, I wonder what Mox is going to do to him.
Fucking murder him. All right, Drew, we'll go with you.
All right. I want to see Roosh and Moxley. That one I'm very much looking forward to.
That'd be a good one.
And I'll say, I think a sleeper of this tournament in the gold bracket, Swerve and Mark Briscoe.
Wow.
Okay. See that?
Wow.
I see you, Drew.
Damn. Okay. All right, J&J.
I want to see Jay White versus Swerve. And also, I wouldn't mind seeing a return match between Jay Lethal and Mark Briscoe.
Well, I'm going with Swerve and Roosh. And
Well, go ahead.
Moxley and you know what? Why not? Jay Lethal.
So I will say that Jay Lethal versus Mark Briscoe is going to happen on the anniversary of Jay's death. That match has already been booked. I think it's Collision. I think it's going to be on Collision. So you guys will get to see that match. But I want to see a battle of the former Ring of Honor World Champions with Jay Lethal and Roosh.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah.
I mean, we can always have Swerve versus Moxley. That's going to be a sleeper match in itself. But I think Jay Lethal and Roosh is going to kill it. Yeah. I mean, that's shit. That's gonna be a fucking fire match. Mark Briscoe versus Roosh.
That should be
crazy. That'd be crazy. Moxley and Jay White. Moxley and Jay Lethal. Okay. So, with that being said, this tournament does look like it's going to be good.
No, I think so. You know what the thing is, like we were talking earlier, and a lot of the clarifications that we had to do with number one, who was in the brackets, 2, how the point system was going to work out. We figured that out, but 3, we really want to see how this is going to work out with Eddie Kingston's 2 titles.
Yeah.
Is he going to carry it through? Like, is he going to clean sweep the tournament and carry him straight through, or is he going to drop him and regain him? So that would add to the drama of it, if you will.
Yeah. Man, that's another thing that's going to add to the drama. Well, I'm excited for this whole thing. After talking to you earlier, I sat down, I looked at the bracket again, and I looked at the way Tony Khan put it over in the way that because Tony Khan puts shit over and he puts it over to where it's like, oh my god, it's gonna be the best thing in the history of the world.
Correct.
Best thing.
And
The
then
best
it's like,
episode of Nitro ever.
yeah, you look at it, you're like, it
It's
is what it is.
It's a bowl of cereal. Just a
So let's
video.
talk about before we get off here. Let's talk about the devil. Let's talk about let's talk about who the devil is, because there's been some speculation station going on here.
Yeah.
People have said it was Britt Baker. People have said it was CM Punk. People will say it's Tony Khan. People will say it's Will Washington. People will say it's George Washington. People will say it's Abe Lincoln.
Wow.
It's Abraham Washington.
It's Abraham Washington.
Everybody knows it's Adam Cole, baby.
So I think
will
Adam
say-
Cole is the devil. And I think that Adam Cole is working with Samoa Joe to get the AEW World Championship off of MJF, because every time there's some shit, Adam Cole was like, well, maybe you need to team with Joe. Maybe you need to give Joe the shot that you promised. Maybe you need to, just forfeit the Ring of Honor tag team belts. And,
Correct.
why are you trying to, I'm a champion. I ain't trying to get rid of my title. I want to keep that motherfucker till the day I die. I want to be buried, cremated with the fucking belt. Like, I want championships to stay. I want to be the forever champion. Every professional wrestling champion, that's what they want to be.
Yeah.
The forever champion. Why am I convincing you to drop the tag team belts? Why am I trying to convince you to put your title on the line against a man who's a monster, and then you're like putting him over like, yeah, man, Joe's a beast, man, and
I'll
I
say
might kill you.
I hadn't thought of the possibility of Adam Cole and Samoa Joe working together. That's interesting. Because my thinking is that Cole would just be using Joe to weaken MJF so that this way he could take the title off of MJF. But if Joe and Cole are in cahoots with each other, that might be interesting. That might be an interesting thing. Although I have to say, we heard the Devil's distorted laugh tonight, and it really sounded like Britt Baker laughing to me.
I was gonna say,
Okay, that's why I brought Britt Baker up, because it did sound like a woman laughing. It did sound like Britt. Britt hasn't been around. People are like, "Oh, she's taking care of Adam." Adam is on TV every week,
Correct.
Yeah.
so obviously she ain't taking care of Adam.
What are you talking about?
Where is she at? What is she doing? Who is she doing?
And
How is she doing it?
I thought that, the greatest trick the Devil ever pulled was convincing you that it didn't exist. I thought that was going to be because we weren't going to see Adam Cole again until he was revealed as the Devil. But maybe it's because it's Britt that's the Devil, and we're not going to see Britt.
That's why we haven't seen it.
Yeah. So she doesn't exist right now on TV because she is the Devil.
Or
So she
here's
does.
another plot twist for you.
Conspiracy theories.
Who? So let's look at the bodies of the guys that are the Devil's minions. They're not Roderick Strong, and the whatever they are. The fucking.
Are you sure about that? Undisputed Era?
I'm pretty sure it's not them.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
it'd be kind of cool if it was Undisputed Era.
Bobby Fish.
another
thing.
Anybody
Kyle
can
O'Reilly
be
is still signed
until they're revealed.
Kyle O'Reilly is still signed to AEW.
The other thing that I just thought of that could lead to it being Britt. Have we ever seen the Devil from neck down? Honestly,
Nope. Just a mask.
You know, if you show the Devil, if the Devil's a woman and you show the Devil neck down, you could kind of tell that it's a woman. So
Shame the Devil, and they tell the truth and shame the Devil.
It would be really cool. You know, I talked about this on my my show on Sunday, but my ultimate fantasy booking, and I know that this is a fantasy booking. Back at Wembley for All In, I wanted the end of that match to be the reverse of what happened a few weeks prior to that in their first meeting together, where MJF was going to hit Cole with the title, and then he decided not to. But the reverse of that would have been that Cole takes the title and does hit MJF with it. And I would just love for, like, now that we know for sure that Samoa Joe is going to be facing MJF at World's End at the end of December.
Yep.
And he should be hopefully healthy enough for it. I feel like it seems that Cole is still going to be in the picture for now. Although he said he's going to go away for like rehab or physical therapy, whatever. Yeah, exactly, Julian. But I have a feeling that Cole is going to be there for the title match. And that's what's going to make you think, but isn't Cole supposed to be the devil? I think that's the trick that they're going to try and pull there. And then when Samoa Joe is done, you know, when in my thing, Samoa Joe loses, MJF retains, and then the minions, the devil's minions, come down and attack MJF. So now we know for sure that MJF is not the devil. And then a healthy Adam Cole comes down to the ring, grabs the AEW title to try and hit the minions and fend them off. And then the devil appears on the screen and turns, you know, takes the mask off, and it ends up being Britt Baker. And I want that same vision. I know it's probably never going to happen, but for me, I just want to see that same visual that we had that first time that MJF was going to hit Cole with the belt and didn't, with the reverse now of MJF standing in front of Adam Cole, and Adam Cole's got the belt. And when MJF realizes that Britt's the devil, that means that my best friend behind me, who's holding the title right now, is about to hit me with it.
You know, a good thing about you just brought up, Drew, and it's like the second time you brought it up. The callbacks.
Yes.
The callback to when he was going to throw the towel in, the same thing he did with fucking Cody. The callback with the belt. I like what you're putting down. It makes a whole lot of sense. And what we're all not realizing, and no one's really paying attention to the fact that this big pay-per-view is happening in New York. It's happening. He even said tonight, in the greatest state in the world, Long Island, New York.
Yeah.
So the biggest screw job, the Long Island screw job, is going to happen.
Long
I
Island
appreciate that.
It's about to be the Long Island screw job. He's going to get screwed out of the championship.
I
maybe.
would wholeheartedly appreciate that.
If Adam Cole is the devil, in my head, again, unless he's, I think that he could be working with Samoa Joe, sure, but in my head, I feel like he wants to be the champion. He doesn't want to help somebody else become the champion.
It might be just a point of screwing MJF.
Yeah, it might just be the ends justifying the means. Like, you know what?
Yeah, that's true.
All this time, you've been telling everybody, you're the greatest, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. Think about MJF's gimmick right now. I really want you guys to just sit back and think about this for a second. MJF's gimmick right now is that he's better than you, and you know it. Well, who's better than MJF? The guy who screws MJF, right? The guy who got one over. The guy who got one over. The guy who convinced you he was so much on your side, he would die to help you live. Remember, this is a guy with a broken leg that was like, I'll go out there and I'll fight Samoa Joe for the championship. Or I'll fight Jay White for the championship. Remember? This is the guy who was like, bro, I will do my bro Chacho for life. I will do whatever for you.
This is my friend for life, brother.
I mean, you guys know, you guys ever heard that phrase, et tu Brute? For those of you who don't know,
you mean the et tu beefcake?
Yeah, for those who don't know what et tu Brute means, it's Latin, and it means you too, Brutus. Because guess who stabbed Caesar in the fucking back? His best friend.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this should happen.
Well, the only person who never turned on me was the disciple brother.
If this happened in March,
Brother
you can beware the Ides of March. Yep. Anyone named Brutus, don't trust that motherfucker. So, point is,
well, I mean, the name of the pay-per-view is very, very apt, considering it will likely be the end of the world for MJF.
Exactly.
So
okay, yeah, I didn't put that together actually.
See, I mean, now we're over here CM Punk conspiracy thinking there was these two lines that in the back of a Shinsuke Nakamura poster. There was these two lines, and they almost look like an X. CM Punk's coming back. Like, come on, man.
What?
The devil. Dude, he's wearing black and white, and he's in Chicago. It's CM Punk.
Conspiracy theory, but we've been seeing some real shitty ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura was eating hot cross buns on a Sunday. You know that X on the bun is like the one that's the X on the back of CM Punk's fist. And you know CM Punk loves going to church on Sunday. Only one conclusion.
He eats buns too. Oh wow.
I saw Shinsuke Nakamura drink a Pepsi. That's a sign.
Oh man, that would have been hilarious. I kind of want to see that now.
that would be funny. All of a sudden, he's like doing a serious promo and he's talking in Japanese, and he goes, "1 minute." Picks up,
drinks a Pepsi,
puts a can down. What? Always Coca-Cola.
If you want to troll the fans, that's the perfect way to do it,
bro. I would do some shit like that just because.
Yeah.
I would do some shit where
I would walk past somebody who looks like Paul Heyman and be like, "Excuse me, sir, what time is it?" Oh, okay.
I'll walk past him wearing a Fantastic Four t-shirt and be like, look at my watch and be like,
it's
kind of a thing, and walk away.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm kind of buying into the conspiracy just a little bit. I do just kind of feel like, I said this in our group chat the other day, but it does feel like WWE is pushing a little too hard.
Oh, but it's great. I mean, why not troll the fans? Give Shinsuke Nakamura a box of Apple Jacks and have him go, "Oh, how I love the AJs." I told you. CM Punk coming back. He's coming back.
I do kind of think that he's going to be there on Saturday. I don't know why. I just have this like weird feeling.
I would laugh if it's just like not
okay. So look. So before we go,
pop the crowd. It would pop the shit out of the crowd. Absolutely.
Before we go, I'm gonna say this.
And then someone else comes out.
No. Before we go, I'm gonna say this.
No.
I think
Damien Sandow, CM Sandow.
No. I think the WWE is doing what AEW did. They're thinking that they don't say he's coming, and he just shows up. That it's going to be like the biggest people are going to come because they're expecting him to come. I would fucking buy CM Punk a goddamn front row seat and be like, "Hey Phil, do me a solid. Just come to the show and watch the show." They never once said he was coming to wrestle.
They just said he was showing up.
They just said he was showing up. That motherfucker walks into the building, sits in the front row, and the camera pans over and be like, "CM Punk's here." Bro, the IWC will lose their shit.
See, we told you he was going to be here. He's going to wrestle later on, and we just see it.
No. Not even say he's going to wrestle because they never once said he was going to wrestle. He just showed up.
The fans would be like, "See, we told you he's going to be here. He's going to wrestle later on tonight. You just watch." He just sits there through the whole entire show and just does nothing.
Whatever happens on Saturday, there's a section of the fans that are going to be really upset. and that just makes me happy.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
there'll be
There.
I'm here to watch the world burn.
and there'll be us.
I'm here to watch the world burn. That's all.
I'm
Drew
here
said,
to.
I just want to see people be pissed off.
Bro, I'm here for it.
I'm here.
I'm
to
gonna
sit
troll
in my
like
backyard
shit
and
on
watch
Twitter
the
too.
world burn.
So Saturday, who's here for the big pay-per-view?
Me.
All right, Survivor Series pay-per-view live
I
from the
might just
Roundtable
show
Pro
up
Wrestling
for it.
Podcast.
Come on,
Watch
Drew.
along, ladies and gentlemen. We will have a good fucking time because that's what we do on this show. With that being said, thank you very much for joining us here.
One thing, any of our fans who are watching, if you are triggered by trolling, don't show up.
Don't show up because we're
We're
gonna
gonna troll the fuck out of you.
be living under a bridge because we're gonna be some fucking trolls.
I might wear my CM Punk shirt.
Well, if that's
Wow.
the case, then
I might wear my Chicago's.
Hell yeah!
Well, if we're
I'll
gonna
put my
deal with-
Chicago flag up in the back.
if we're gonna be
Mhm.
dealing with trolls, then I need to go call Ernest P. Worrell for that.
Wow.
Wow,
Ladies and gentlemen, have a great Thanksgiving. Don't get too stuffed because remember, don't worry about calories because if it's made with love, calories don't exist. Peace.